This is a video on Venn diagrams. The question states, 55 businesses were researched. 29 were open on the weekends. 25 paid more than minimum wage. 17 were both open on the weekends and paid more than the minimum wage. And 4 were government consulting businesses. None of the consulting businesses were open on the weekend, nor did they pay more than minimum wage. Sketch a Venn diagram that displays this information. So this is a lot of information to just kind of absorb in our brains. It's much easier to see it in a picture. And that's what Venn diagrams do for us. So let us start constructing our Venn diagram. So I just wrote down the numbers that we need. There were 55 businesses. 29 of the businesses were open on the weekends. 25 paid more than minimum wage. 17 were both open on the weekends and paid more than minimum wage. 4 were the government consulting businesses. And none of the government consulting businesses matched with either weekends or paying more than minimum wage. So let's start out with a few of the pieces of the Venn diagram. So the first thing when we draw a Venn diagram is we're going to draw circles for each of the categories. Our categories are open on the weekends, paying more than minimum wage, and being a government consulting business. Notice that the government consulting businesses don't overlap with the open on weekends, nor do they overlap with the paying greater than minimum wage. So this government consulting businesses, and there were only 4 of them compared to the very large number of the others. So I draw a smaller circle for the government consulting businesses, and I make it a 4 in the middle, and I make it so it doesn't overlap the other 2 circles. When they don't overlap, we call them mutually exclusive. So the government consulting businesses and the open on weekends, for example, are mutually exclusive events. So are the government consulting businesses, and the paying greater than minimum wage are also mutually exclusive events. On the other hand, the open on weekends and the pays more than minimum wage, they do overlap. There were 17 that were both. Those are not mutually exclusive. So I make sure they do overlap. Now let's fill in the numbers for the rest of them. So what we know is that there were 17 businesses that were both open on weekends and paid more than minimum wage. So I put a 17 on this intersection. We also know that there were 29 businesses open on the weekends. 17 overlapped. So if I subtract 29 minus 17, then I get 12. So I'm going to put a 12 over in this crescent on the weekends that is not part of the overlapping area. Similarly, there were 25 businesses that paid more than minimum wage, and 17 of those overlapped. So 25 minus 17 is 8. So I'm going to put an 8 right here in the crescent for the paying more than minimum wage businesses. And then finally, I had 55 businesses. So if we take 55 minus 12 minus 17 minus 8 minus 4, I get 14. And here is the Venn diagram for this whole scenario. And I'm done with the problem. Thank you for watching this video.